Okay, we should be live.
Okay, we should be live.
Yes, according to that echo, we are indeed live. So here we are. I'm struggling to make it work on BackerKit. But we'll see what happens. I hope people find me still. Yeah, this BackerKit thing a little harder than, it can initially appear. Event stream live mode. No, that's not quite it. Live stats, engagement, streaming. Okay, this should now be working correctly. Let me go, see. Hey, does it look like I'm on here? Oh, it sure does.
Yes.
All right, so I'm actually live correctly this time. So here we are, the Conquest of Chaos. I'm actually streaming correctly now. I can be heard, so that's amazing. Took me a little minute to figure it out. So I wanted to thank people for bearing with me. And we're off to an awesome start here. I'm so happy to see that. I've invested a lot of time, money into it. I'm going to close this other window so I stop looking at it. But I am so happy that we are at this point. It has been a long time coming. I checked the very first Google Doc that I started for one of the adventures, the third level adventure, actually. And that was created on September 19th, 2020. So that was quite a while ago now, nearly 5 years. Back then, that very first play session, the third level adventure had about probably half the rooms it does now. But it was an awesome time, and I knew I had something really special there. It started with, a handful of people on the Dungeon Crawler server. Remember James Harlan and Matt Robertson, they were there and had an amazing time. James charmed basically the big bad of the adventure, but also ended up himself getting charmed. So his Claret of Kadikstadt, there's like this, hilarious cycle of you do this, okay, now you do this, and just being friends. After that, I had this idea for what eventually came to level 2 adventure. And then I had another idea for the level for what felt right as the funnel. Can't go funnel 2, 3. I had to create a level 1 adventure as well. And at that point, I got a lot of giants, and I saw out there that, there's not really a full adventure path campaign for DCC. The Chained Coffin kind of does that, but it's a bunch of adventures in one region, not like one kind of storyline going through. So I wanted to have that happening. In there, I created, something that I tried creating something that hadn't been really done before in the DCC space, and it seemed like it really worked. Playtests have been so fun over the years, and maybe this could have come out a little sooner, but it's hard to work on something this big as it's really a solo project too. I don't have the other people writing it. It's 100% me is the writing, but I have to give amazing shout outs to the editors. Oh, hey Diego, thanks for joining up. I don't know why I'm also responding in chat. I mean, you can hear me. But thank you for joining up and finding the stream again after my little mishap there. Getting used to the managing my own stream thing. When I'm on the Goodman channel, someone else does all that for me. So I never really had to learn too much. But here we are. As I said, I wanted to show off. This is it was a part of my little Habanichi notebook for Dungeon 23. Let me find the right page. Here it is. This is like the first page for what became the first level adventure. So that's how this adventure started. One room a day. Um, and little room, little drawing, and the others kind of started out as the same, not exactly the same thing. They aren't also in this notebook, but just doodles on paper. That's how I find myself able to get like creative stuff out. And I write in a pen so that I have to scratch it out or I can't erase it on if I start on Google Docs or in a actual word processor. I keep editing instead of just writing. And so I'm able to get full ideas out better when I'm actually just using a physical journal. So I've got stuff spread around a few different notebooks. And then if I think they're good enough, then they get thrown into a Google Doc and I revise and play test and so forth and so forth. That said, if you check out my the official YouTube channel for Dragon Peak Publishing slash DM Bad Wrong Fun, my silly little handle, you'll see the whole actual play series of me running through the full campaign. Just one adventure after another because we had time constraints each of us, and even that takes a pretty good chunk of time. But the level one in there, the level one adventure, I didn't actually run the level one adventure in here. The level one adventure I ran there is it was the very first play test of what is the stretch goal adventure, currently titled The Corpulent Prophet. And so you can see there, that was just run off of, a notebook, 2 pages in a notebook. And, so it's a little loose. You see me improv and a few more ums and let me thinks than normally you could expect from me running a game. But there we are. That's a fun way to see what a very first playtest looks like for me often enough. So what else we got going on? Let me check back. All right, 28 backers, amazing, beautiful. I'm scrolling down. What are some good things to talk about? So, I mean, first off, that Peter Mullen cover. I was so happy to get Peter Mullen on this project. I reached out to him, I think a couple years ago now, and it was in, I forget, I think 2023. Yeah. And I reached out in the fall and he basically said he was really busy, but he could schedule me in for like a year from then. And I said, absolutely sure. I'm be happy to do that. I'm not, I reached out early because I wanted to get him and I thought he probably had a busy schedule. And yeah, sure enough, he did. That said, hey, I waited like 9 months, reached out in the summertime of 2024 and said, hey, just checking in that still on schedule for sometime in the fall and, nail down a little bit more specific date. And he said, actually, I can start now. I was, whoa, great. And I gave him a few reference pictures, ideas of what the adventure was. And he came back with a amazing piece of art there. Yes, I'm back, Nick. Sorry, as I said earlier. Sorry, YouTube streaming. You've done it a little bit, Nick. I have not. So this, couple missteps with the first try there. Had to figure out where the mic, what the mic settings needed to be, and found out that my selection of webcam accidentally got defaulted back to OBS, and I didn't notice, and so that was also causing some issues. But here we are, back to just the webcam. But yeah, Peter Mullen, I was so happy to get that work back from him. And we have this amazing stretch cover that if you guys scroll down the page a little bit, you can see the stretch front and back cover. And there'll be a little bit extra text put on the back cover and ISBN and stuff like that when it's done. But didn't I wanted to show off as much of the awesome art as possible. I'll be using the face of that monster and kind of the lower bottom to make a sticker out of if we reach that stretch goal. Scroll down a little bit and you can see that sticker at the 15,000 XP, aka dollars. I am really stoked about that. And, hey, I'm already making some stickers and some patches. It's been too long since I've made either one of those. And also, I'll point out one of the special premium tiers, the deluxe package, as I call it there, is a dice tray. Here is, let me make sure that I can see it, but yeah, a prototype of what the dice tray is. The text is a little bit too close to the edge, so when you fold it up, it kind of gets covered up. But that's why I made a prototype that will get adjusted. And see, little buttons, and there we go. You roll dice, and your D24s and D30s won't roll all the way off your table that way. Yes, I mean, hey, you can use it as a mouse pad. It's going to have some buttons in the corner, but yeah, dice tray. I thought that would be an awesome thing to have. And, I always try to come up with something new every once in a while. And that seemed like a fun one. I didn't want to make T-shirts again. I have enough T-shirts. We all do too. I thought about it, but dice tray seemed like way more fun. And I really like the patches too that we got going on. The road crew patch. I haven't added a patch to my vest here in a little while. And then also the I got corrupted patch. That one's going to be really cool to, I don't know. I think I've got some room up here that I can stick it on the back and people will see that, and get some room, down on the lower spots around my no Watsy, no Masters one, where I'll stick the road crew patch on my own. So very, very stoked for that. What else we got? I'll say, if you guys also want to hear more, I've been on recently on the This Old Dungeon podcast with Lou Al Lou. We talked about G3, Hall of the Fire Giant King, but also, a good chunk about this. The first 30 minutes of that podcast is about this, and then the rest is actually about G3. And we had a fun time, discussing our highlights and, hey, what we might change, because, hey, we're doing This Old Dungeon thing. It's also on Nerds RPG Variety Cast with Jason Connerly. Talked about revisiting old modules and updating them, and being inspired by them, and converting them to different systems. And we had a good time with that. And of course, these series of adventures in the Conquest of Chaos, these 6 adventures, they're inspired by the classic GDQ against the giants and Descent into the Depths with the Drow, and then Spider Giant, and then Lolth, Spider Giant Queen. It's inspired by that, heavily on the giants side. But there's the 4th level adventure, has a whole lot of stone giants, and it's a multi-tier dungeon crawl, that one. And so the end part of it is large caverns. That's my homage to the D part of GDQ. And then the 5th level adventure is on a plane of chaos, which is, my homage, very loose inspiration by Q. And what you do there. There's no giant spider robots, but there's some pretty crazy stuff going on in there. That one was a beast to write. That one took a lot of revisions. Doing a campaign or an adventure on another plane of existence, plane of chaos, you can kind of do whatever you want, but you have to create it in a way where there's going to be a sense of progression and logic to it, still a twisted logic. So for that, I thought a lot about, I reread some of the Moorcock books with Elric and Corum when they're on planes of chaos to try to get inspiration for that. And no, it does not look like a 70s bath towel. No, that one is you begin on an island on the seas of chaos, and you have to. You probably don't want to go swimming in those seas, If you've read the Quorum and Elric books, it's Sailors on the Seas of Fate, or I forget which Quorum book, or Elric, Quorum, I believe, where there's like a lake of it's like souls, and the water is like will give you depression and despair, and you cannot rise above it because you are overwhelmed by your own failures. I can't that was the inspiration point for the seas. So that was a lot of fun to create, and all the like crazy stuff that can happen to you while you sail towards a ziggurat made of flesh and bone that I describe as biological asphalt. But the flesh and bone, it is kind of like a psyche. Yes, I got the sound back, Carl. Sorry about the issues earlier. So but having a great time there. Yeah, on the YouTube channel, that video will go up too. I've got things scheduled out. I still have to do the editing on that last video and make sure that there's no, cut out the little breaks and stuff like that. That should go up about the first week of February. I think I've got about half the campaign up on the YouTube channel right now. But your people who watch that, you're going to get a good idea. Of course, you're going to get spoiled if you watch all that stuff. But you can also take it in a pretty different direction than those guys took it, because they were playing as actual monsters. They were playing as fiends and orcs and goblins and stuff. So that was my recording of a playtest that is the chaos run of a campaign. I've done plenty of playtests with good guys, typical DCC adventurers, though those are not always good guys. But that was my bad guy playtest of how well does this work if you're, maybe not on the side of this brand of chaos, but you don't want your brand of chaos, your dark, lord to be defeated. So that's what that playtest is like. And of course, I mention it there. There's like a little content warning. Yeah, they really are bad guys in there. There's some definite just murdering of people. So, but it's a fun time. We don't get edgelordy in that. It's a good old time. But back to the Conquest and not crazy playtest campaigns. We got about 100 pages. I'm pretty deep into layout for this, actually. So let's talk about how ready this thing is. It's fully written, fully play tested. It's been through editing. It's been through 2 rounds of editing. And when I'm done with all the layout, editor's going to get it again. Shout outs to Gilbert Isla. Ilsa. I'm so sorry if I said it wrong, man. But he did an awesome job. He did a lot of the editing on Weird Frontiers. He's done a lot for Goodman Games. So, top notch editing there. And it's going to be about 100 pages. Full page size, so 8.5 by 11. Typical DCC module size, but this is hardcover. It's going to be Smithstone binding, not using the glue, Smithstone. So, you're going to be able to lay it nice and flat at the table. And it's got, the 6 adventures in there. It's got, some like a small section of guidelines for, here's how advice for running a long campaign. Here's, hey, do you want a region that, people can look at a map for? Here's my little advice on like creating a map yourself and populating it with towns taken from modules you probably already have on your shelf. I did a stream on rules as written over on the Goodman Games channel, which basically contains a lot of the same advice that I give for that in this book. But you'll be able to find it here. There's right now just one handout. We'll see if that changes with if any stretch goals get met. Let's see what else. I've got some appendices in the back that have like, here's some extra rules for swimming if you need to reference those, because there's, some significant amounts of water throughout actually 3 different adventures. So swimming and water, fighting while you're swimming might come up. There's some stuff for there. They're based off of the swimming rules. They're kind of scattered about a few DCC modules, like in Tower of the Black Pearl. Yeah, swimming often does equal drowning. Very, very correct. In the appendices, there's also rules for using those giant-sized weapons because they're a little bit bigger. Shipping to Canada, I'm not doing it because this one is gonna be pretty heavy, weight-wise. So I can't do it individually because it would cost more than $30 to ship a single book. I'm located down in Texas, so the shipping costs for me to Canada are about as expensive as they get coming from America. Uh, I haven't been able to secure, and I have looked into, but I haven't been able to secure a shipping partner up there. So, yeah, Ben, if you know of someone who will do it, please let me know. In the past, I have tried it out, on some smaller modules, and basically I've kind of at best broken even on shipping costs. And with the shipping cost for this being more expensive, it's made me a little bit afraid of doing that. That said, there's a retailer tier. So, hey, bug your friendly local game store. I will, and I'm have them email me at dragonpeakpublishing@gmail.com and we'll work something out. I'll do my best there. That said, Goodman Games will most assuredly be stocking this later on through their online store. So you'll at least be able to get it through there. And I'm also going to reach out, try to get it through Exalted Funeral and see what else I can do. Was hoping for the just general retail distribution, but Diamond distributors recently, announced bankruptcy, so that kind of threw some distribution plans and things Goodman Games have been trying, made them really complicated. So I have no full-scale retail distribution plan right now. So whenever this gets done, I'm going to print up however many makes sense to print, but it's possible this print run will go, out of print for a while after that. Hopefully I can, I'm going to try to have as much as I can printed and probably have a lot of boxes, in my back room where, I do all my illustrious work from. But, I only got so much room back here to store all those boxes. We'll see. So get it while the getting's good is basically what it comes down to. That's how it goes. But here we are. I'll also say, quick shout out to, I'm working on a couple other things. I don't have like share links, but this is not a part of Zine Quest or Zine Month, but I'm working on a couple of things. So I'll give a shout out to The Wanting Wizard, where that'll be a fun little zine. I'm working with John Watson, Matt Gullett, Eddie Bartlett, and Luau Lu on a cool little DCC zine. And so keep an eye out for that. Oh, hey, I see a familiar face in the chat. Yeah, Eddie. So yeah, y'all keep out look there. That'll be a fun one. We're having a good time collaborating. We're all doing some writing and sharing the editing work. So that is going to be fun. Yes, the shutters. This is so because I was like, I don't think I can make YouTube blur my background. I don't know. So this is also, I don't want you seeing all my junk in the house. So, got this to cover it up. That this is, the illustrious workspace of a one-man show. If I move that, you're going to see my washer and dryer. But so here we are in chat. What other question do you guys have? Like, please hit me with it. Ask me about specifics of the modules, or I'll figure out something to chat about. Let's see. Oh, I've also included a glossary in the back of like notable magic items. That's one thing that running, campaign playtests, I found out people would write something on their character sheet and go, wait, what was this thing? I wrote it down. What was it? So in the back of this book, there's a glossary. It has the details of what each magic item does, not entirely, but mostly a copy and paste of the description from the adventurous found, and plus a link to the page reference that will also be hyperlinked to where it is actually found in the book. I'm going to have every time a page is referenced in the book, there's going to be a hyperlink there. table of contents or in the adventures themselves, and bookmarks, all those nice accessibility things. Um, and great question, Tony. Any types of giants I didn't have room for, but wish could have put in. I don't have proper frost giants in there. There's the sea giants in the level 3 adventure. They are in a pretty kind of cold, frigid area of the sea. It's like an island fortress, but no proper frost giants. I do, let's see if we make all these stretch goals. And I have a couple thoughts in mind for some secret ones. So there might be some like 4-page adventures for frost giants and hill giants if we get to that point. So that'll be a good time. They'll be kind of 4-page adventure. That's kind of on the scale of a dungeon delve, something like that. If you guys have been getting your Dungeon Denizens books in the mail yet, or checked out the PDFs, the Dungeon Delve supplement book, where there'll be like 2 or little adventures there, like 2 or 4 pages, or another comparison like a pamphlet adventure, a little bit more than a pamphlet adventure, where it'll be a small interlude adventure. So I've got one in mind for frost giants and one in mind for hill giants. That said, the 30K stretch goal, the corpulent prophet, that kind of has a hill giant Etten thing going on in there. But I tried my best to make the giants pretty unique, but also not just repeat how the G series was. We start out with fire giants in the funnel, but we don't go fire, frost, we don't go hill, frost, fire like in G. Having a good time there. Yeah, the stone giants, they are definitely breaking into the dwarven crypts, and they're up to a pretty dastardly ritual. I'm gonna say, a little hint. If the PCs don't resolve that one quite well, some of the dwarven underground skills, their sense of smell, and some of those seemingly innate but somewhat supernatural skills are at risk. So the PCs better do that dungeon crawl and do it on time. The sea giants, they want to undo a curse and be able to, raid the inland empires once of man and dwarf again. The level 2 adventure, that's got cyclopses and a rather unique variety of storm giants. I'll leave it to the players who grab things to find out what that exactly entails. But they're they've got kind of their own curse going on. You're going to find that throughout the adventures. All these giants are under the effect of some really terrible curse that each has their own variety. Another good thing to talk about, the VTT support here, Foundry. Tim White reached out to me. Basically, he wanted Foundry. I don't know anything about VTTs, y'all, but he sure does, and so we're partnering on that. So we're making it happen, thanks to him. So big shout outs to Tim for doing that. Thank you so much, because I did want VTT support, but I was completely lost with how to make that happen. The corruption patch as an add-on. I see you talking about it, Robert. I'll see that. I'm not going to do it right now while we are live, but I'll make the corruption patch as an add-on happen. Sure thing, man. Ooh. All right. Got a little Discord message. People bug me during these. Not I was being bugged, but yeah, people reach out, congratulate you, and yeah. So I also want to say thank you to all the playtesters. I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there who are gonna have their names in the chat. I've tried to write down everyone who's ever run or played in one of these. So I've got a pretty extensive playtester credit list, and the playtesters, they're listed for each individual adventure. So if you playtested more than one, your name is showing up. Got some for the folks who are in a campaign with me, your name is showing up 6 different times credit as a playtester. So I'll also add after this ends, I'll throw on like old or not all. That's not the proper marketing word, but I'll throw on existing Dragon Peak publishing material to get PDFs of the old existing catalog, and print stuff that I still have in print. It'll be available after the crowdfunding ends when we do the pledge manager portion of things. So you'll be able to get stuff at a little discount there. If you've and so I'm glad people are back now. I'm sure you already know. First 48 hours, you get that We Are the Road Crew patch, and that I'm sticking to just the first 48 hours. So the I Got Corrupted, I'll make that a separate add-on, sure. But Road Crew, be here now, or at least within the next about 47 hours and 20 minutes. That said, if you've backed any of my Kickstarters in the past, I've got your email addresses as they are for the Kickstarter account. So if your BackerKit account has a different email address, send me a message. I'll make a little note so that I can still get you the I pondered the orb and all I got was a stupid sticker. I'll get you that. I was not the creator of the Prisoners of the Secret Overlords one. I was like a collaborator on that. Same with actually my first one, Merchants of the Multiverse. So if you were just on one of those two and not anything else, then send me a message as well, and I'll make a manual note, still get you a sticker. But BackerKit doesn't have a way to automatically figure those out because I wasn't the primary creator. Let's see. So yes, and thank you, Eddie, Mr. No Class RPG podcast, a great one to go listen to, and connected to the wonderful Long Con, which is, I'll actually say, I think in 2022, I think that was the first year that I was running the Goodman Games booth there, or well, no, I wasn't running the Goodman Games booth. Me and Matt Robertson, my co-host on Raw, we were running a booth that was not the Goodman Games booth, but we sold a lot of Goodman Games stuff there. And during one of the games, during game times at cons, it's pretty slow at booths. So I had some time and I was drawing, and I drew what was the first map for the funnel adventure, and just had my notebook and didn't feel like writing, but I was drawing and I drew some, like a plane of fire, and kind of thinking of what would be fun to explore across the plane of fire. And hey, you put a funnel on the plane of fire, PCs can't survive there for very long, even if they survive the funnel. Like, they got to find a way to get out, and so they got to get out quick. So my kind of the vibe for that was really Mad Max Fury Road, something that is like a chase the whole way through. And so that's what the funnel is. It is a chase the whole time, where fire giants, who can probably squish you in a single blow, but hey, funnel, you got 4 characters each person, so that's fine, really. You get squished, you can get squished 3 more times before you're out. And that's where it came from, right at Long Con. That's where the funnel began. So awesome shout out there. I'm looking forward to coming back this year. What else we got going on? Where are we at? Let me scroll up. Oh, about $2,500. Wonderful. I'm super happy to see it. I've been so nervous about this. Of course I have been. This is the biggest campaign I've ever launched, and the one that I've invested the most in. Time, money, reaching, and just a lot of effort. It's not quite blood, sweat, and tears. No blood has been into this, but I've been in this back room here. In the summers, it gets a little hotter than every room in the house. In the winters, right now, it gets colder than every room in the house. So there's been some sweat, I can promise that much. Tears, there's been some exhaustion, but no tears. So blood, sweat, and tears, no, just sweat, I suppose. But a lot of joy and love has gone into this. And I'm so happy to do it. I'll give shout outs to Davin Klutz. He's going to be doing the cartography for this. I usually use him for my cartography. You've seen his stuff in Big Trouble for a Little Blood. You've seen his stuff in the Brimstone Cradle. That's his style. Prisoner of the Secret Overlords. He's been doing some work for Goodman Games too. He's A plus material there. He's doing. I'm going to be chatting with him a little later this week and going over some of the sketches for that. Also got Hodag on here. If you've collected a few zines in the OSR sphere, you've probably got some that got Hodag art in there. He's prolific. He does a lot of work. Also got Kuril Chengov. He did all of the art inside of Prisoners of the Secret Overlord, which, I managed that project, but it wasn't my project. So I wanted to get him for one of mine. I want to get him for that, and I did. So very happy for that. And I've of course mentioned the Peter Mullen art on the front already, but he's got a full page piece for each of the 6 adventures. I've got 5 of those pieces in. He should be getting me a sketch on the last piece within the week, and then I'll be inking it shortly after that. If you click on the campaign video, which after this video disappears, you'll be able to see that a little bit more easily up on the top. Yep, see you, man. See you, Matt. But if you click on the campaign video on the top, that little video that I made has 5 of the 6 pieces. You'll see them there. Couldn't get the last piece in time, but so it goes. So it goes, folks. And if you scroll down actually on the kind of layout preview, you'll see a couple. You'll see his piece for Where Demons Roost, and the title's covered up. But right above that is the piece for the Cyclopean Storm. Respectively, those are the level 1 and 2 adventures. You also notice that I have little borders on the edges of the pages. In that layout preview, I have a different border for each of the 6 adventures, so that when you're flipping through the book, you can really easily spot which adventure you're looking at. You're going to be able to become accustomed to that. What else we got? I didn't mention. So I haven't done this part yet because I need to get the maps first. But I'm going to have annotated judges' maps in the back, so that the judge, there's a lot of pages to flip through in this book, but at very least the judge can photocopy one of the pages, for whatever map they're running that night, or, if it's somewhere going to be a 2-page map. But I'm going to kind of shrink the map down a little bit on that page and, have arrows and a little bit of text, just really quickly describing each room, so that the judge is going to be able to see how it connects and remember it. It'll still have the area 2H or whatever, but that line will connect to it and it'll say, beast cages, and detail 2 or 3 bullet points of what's going on there, just for ease of use, trying to make it as easy to run as possible. I like it, that kind of thing. You don't see that often in adventures, but I like having that kind of thing, and it makes running things a little bit easier. It's also my kind of middle ground between, I do like the old school essentials style text, where it's just bullet points and everything's really quick and easily referenceable. But this is DCC style. You got full paragraphs and everything. So having those annotated judges maps will kind of give you a little bit of that other style of layout, and hopefully make things a lot easier on running. So, but yeah, I'll encourage people to get the deluxe package. If you'll get it signed, you'll get the patch, you'll get the dice tray. Show that again. Pop it out again so you can see the full thing. Dice tray again. That'll be moved a little more interior so that the title doesn't fold up. But if you don't get it signed from here, you'll have to find me at a con. And I usually don't go to cons outside of Texas, just because, life circumstances, it's kind of difficult for me to do that. I hit a lot of the Texas ones, though. So you'll have a hard time getting it signed from me otherwise. That said, I do plan on, a Dungeon Con, the one that Goodman Games is holding at their warehouse. I do intend to go to that this year. So if I know they're going to have limited tickets and stuff. I mean, they haven't even put their tickets on sale. But if you intend to go to that, if you got room in your airline baggage to throw your book in, I'm sure I will sign that for you there. And hey, hopefully they'll have some in the warehouse. Hey, maybe you can just pick them up. I don't remember when Dungeon Con is though, so maybe this won't be in print by then. we'll just have to wait and find out. Yeah, in TRPG Con, I'll be there. I've got my ticket already. So I'm looking forward to that. That one, I'm intending to be there most of the weekend. Probably, definitely Saturday, Sunday, hopefully Friday too. I don't know FenCon. I'll be at Pelicon in a couple of weeks. That is, it's their first year. On May 3rd for Dungeon Con. Probably will not be in print by that point. The estimated fulfillment is June. So if I can do it faster, I sure will, but probably won't be in print by Dungeon Con. But yeah, I'll be in Pelicon in a few weeks. It's their first year. That's in Galveston. FanCon, February 4th. Okay, that is like Valentine's weekend. I can't swing that. I'll get in a lot of trouble if I try to go to a convention that weekend. But the week before is Pelicon in Galveston. I think they're mostly like board game and card game focused, but I'll be running the Goodman booth there. I agree, Nick. Yeah, you need to get out of the Midwest, and I need to get out of Texas. Hey, maybe Dungeon Con. We shall see. I'm hoping, I'm looking forward to that, and seeing a lot of folks that I just chat with online, and hopefully seeing them in person, meeting people for the first time. I always love doing that. I'm see what a Bob Brinkman air hug, bear hug is like. So what else we got going on? Where are we at? I want to check again. $2,710. All right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, folks. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Say I'm also another Zine Month thing, because I'm sure I'm not busy enough. I'm working on a thing called What Lurks Between the Trees, which is kind of like a Into the Odd hack where you play as park rangers who investigate supernatural happenings in various national parks. So that'll be a fun one. Again, I don't think the preview link for that is up yet, but keep a lookout for that if you're in the market for a whole lot of zines really soon. I'm not doing any writing on it. I'm gonna be doing editing and layout on that one. So, all right, Harley Shrug gives the biggest hugs for a little bit. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see. Hey, I'm not pressuring people to give me them hugs, but we'll see. We'll get a good handshake out of them, or a little pat on the back or a fist bump. We'll see. But I'll looking forward to seeing a lot of people, and that's why I love going to cons. Just hanging out with people and talking about nothing but games. Forgetting the trials and tribulations of the world. I'll talk 20,000 stretch goal of 3-episode adventure design podcast. That's one I kind of got the idea on like the various Bastion Land podcasts. Chris McDowell does a kind of a version of that where he'll do some podcasts and talk about things. So, kind of be my version of that. I don't have any guests set up, but I intend to get 3 different guests for each of those episodes and talk about some kind of specific aspect of adventure design. So if there's something that, people want to hear about, I will put up a poll or just ask people with we got those BackerKit community functions over here. There's actually a poll up right now. I'll also add, what's your favorite kind of giant? We got 3 votes, 1 for fire, 1 for storm, 1 for stone. Good news, we got all of those in here. So, but yeah, I'm looking. I hope we do that. I always have a fun time chatting with people on podcasts too. Again, my favorite thing is playing games. My second favorite thing is talking about them. So I'm looking forward to hitting that. I really want to hit it. And as I said earlier, I got a couple things in mind for if we hit that 30K stretch goal, I'll throw in a couple more stretch goals for some extra added content for a few giants that will otherwise be perhaps sorely or not so sorely missed. Depends if you're a player character or not. If you're going to miss them, I suppose. Players will probably miss them more than the player characters. Where's the poll? If you click on the community tab on the backer kit, it should go story, pledge level, add-on, community, then FAQ and discover. That's what it looks like on my screen. And you have to scroll down at least a little beneath the big video, and then you'll start seeing it right above the overview section. But yeah, that's where the poll is. I'll be throwing some other polls up as time goes on. And I'm sure, let me see, we got any discussions yet? No discussions. But yeah, hit me with comments in there if there's something you see. And, hey, and if there's like kind of an accessibility focused thing as well, of like, are you going to have, X to make it helpful? I'm going to have hyperlinking and bookmarks and all that kind of stuff. But, if there's something extra that you think you would like to see in the book, hit me in the discussion on the community tab, and I will do my best to make it happen if it's something that I can work into the book at this point. Let me see. From MDD, I know you mentioned not during live stream, but are you going to make a pledge that has one without the dice tray and then still include the road crew patch? I will make the road crew patch. That is going to be a first 48-hour only. So no, I will make a separate thing for the I got corrupted patch. But hey, I got to stick to my guns at a certain point on if you get it or not. I might have some, whenever you make patches, it's going to be in a certain quantity, so I have to order more than I need, of course. So I might have some left over, but I don't intend to ever print the We Are the Road Crew patch again. So get it while the getting's good. All right. Asking for a friend. All right, well, tell your friend. I mean, hey, if your friend doesn't, know if it, $40 now, you could I think the way, yeah, if you back at the PDF level of if it's a finance thing, I'd gonna make all the core material available afterwards, but back at the PDF level now, and you could upgrade later on, like in the pledge manager part of it, to the core, so that you would then get physical add-ons, and you can kind of split your $20 here and then $20 at another paycheck later if things are tight like that. But gonna make this available afterwards, not the patch itself, but the core stuff. So hey, don't be hurting your wallet. I don't want anyone to do that. This stream is about to, let me see, I might actually be able to extend it on BackerKit, because I can keep on streaming, but I think it's going to kick it off BackerKit. Let me edit that, and I can keep it going for a little while. Okay, all right, it's not going to kick us off BackerKit in a couple minutes now. I'll stay a little while longer, and not too, maybe about 30 more minutes, depending on how things go. But if people get too quiet, I'm gonna head on out. So keep on chatting. I know it's the middle of like a work day for most folks, though, so I understand people got to go. All right, 2,800. Yeah, I'm excited, folks. Yes, please do help me make this big. That $8,000 stretch goal, I'll be perfectly honest, that is will not even cover all my expenses. The $8,000 funding goal will cover my investment of art and editing. So actual printing the book is going to cost even more than that. I'll at least be recouping some amount of expenses, but I probably won't see profit until somewhere between 12, probably about 15,000, honestly, which is why some of those early stretch goals are a little, I'm not giving big bonuses. So help me hit these numbers, folks. I share it out there. I gotta, if I gotta keep on doing this, I got some more big plans in the future. If I want to keep on having big plans and being able to invest in big projects, I got to make sure that, you know, the big projects work. But of course, still only back it if you're really into it. I don't want you backing it just out of whatever's. Patch with physical pledges only. Yes, gotta do physical pledges for a patch. I'm not just if you do PDF, I'm not collecting your info for shipping because I don't have anything to actually ship you. You gotta get that physical patch. I'll edit the little image there to clarify. I believe it does say at the top of the screen, there's like a banner, get a free road crew patch by backing at a physical level in the first 48 hours. Same thing with the sticker. I'll edit those for added clarity. Sorry about the lack of clarity at the start. Yeah, just I mean, Brian's doing it. Brian's been. I've seen you, Brian. I've seen you. You're responding to a ton of my stuff on Blue Sky and Facebook and all that. I know Brian's excited about this. I know a lot of people have been excited. So thank you so much, folks, for back end sharing and everything else that you've been doing here. Thank you for playing. If you were a playtester in the past. I will also add, you know, hey, I'm going to go look. I only had a few pledge levels. There's still a couple. I did a 5 slots for a play with creator thing where $100 you get the, you know, all the physical stuff. And I'm going to run 3 games. The funnel, the level 3, and the final one is like a abbreviated version of the campaign that I'll run for folks over Discord at, you know, some point that, you know, me and the 5 players will work out some kind of a schedule. So I didn't make it, you know, it's a little bit more than the normal kind of deluxe package, but I didn't make it that expensive because I kind of feel weird about charging for games. Wanted to offer something and knew I had to make it a little bit more, but mostly just five people get it. Just had to limit the numbers because scheduling's tough. Scheduling is real tough. The Pondered the Orb, if you've backed one of my Kickstarters before, then you'll get it. Basically, BackerKit imported all of the like Kickstarter email account that were associated with previous Kickstarter pledges from you know, things that I've been the primary creator before. So if your BackerKit email is different from your Kickstarter email, send me a message and I'll make a manual note to still get you a sticker there. An MDD, I'll if you haven't, I think you have. I think I remember mailing something to you before, so I'm pretty sure you're on that list. But you know, hey, if you send me a message being like I bought it from the Goodman store or something, you know, I'll be pretty cool about that. I'll still send you a sticker. But you just got to send me a note. Otherwise that won't happen. So I'll also add, because I wasn't the primary creator, I said this once before, but I wasn't the primary creator on Merchants of the Multiverse or Prisoners of the Secret Overlord. So while I was involved, did the fulfillment and a lot of the stuff there, BackerKit didn't import the emails from those. So if you were only a Kickstarter background, one of those 2, also send me a message. Yes, Del Monte. Yeah, Quorum and Elric. Those are my favorite Moorcock stories. I found Quorum a little bit more appealing as a protagonist for I think a lot of, you know, the obvious reasons that are generally out there. But I love both those stories. Sailors on the Seas of Fate was the first Moorcock story I ever read, and I fell in love with them ever since. That one, you know, with Elric, you know, kind of doesn't matter if you read them out of order to a certain extent. But then the Quorum ones, I really dug those, and they're my absolute favorites. I need to read some of the other ones. I need to read the you know, the Hawkwind ones. But I really I say read the Quorum ones. They have those I forget who they're by, but the like the fancy audio books where they have like all the different voice actors and they have sound effects and stuff. I actually listen to those for the Quorum books because they're so good. They're really well acted, and they tweak the writing a little bit at times. I do know that because they actually have to have people say it. Um, yes, it's from the UK, and I'm over here in Texas, and now Mr. Mortcock is down over here with it. Oh yeah, yeah. Hawkwind will take me in a little different Hawk Moon. You're right. Thank you for the correction, Tony. Yeah, it's easy to mix those up for the obvious reasons. I need to take a little sip of my tea. Been talking so long. All right. So, any other questions about stickers or patches or dice trays, or just about the book? Again, I'll throw in one thing. I mentioned this on the page itself and the design for ease of play, but I tried to make sure each of the different adventures has a very different environment, monsters, challenges. So to very quickly go over it, like the level 1 adventure is the funnel is a very fast-paced dungeon crawl that runs in a couple of hours. So that was intentional because I wanted that fast pace, and going 4 hours, you might kind of lose that. But also, if this is someone's first DCC funnel, either as a judge or a player, you got those rules questions, things can go a little slower. This way, you have time to maybe even create your characters at the beginning, then level them up at the end and go over any of the rules questions. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'll show the dice tray. And Robert, I'll make a little note right now. I'll write it down on the side. Robert Coleman, I'll look out for your name and make sure you get a sticker. So, but this is the dice tray. I'm going to move the title in a little bit. Let me button it up again farther away from my mic so it doesn't pop too loud. But so it looks like that folded up, but that's also why I'm gonna move the letters in a little bit. But yeah, Mullen all over, front and back. He did a stretch cover, so it's gonna go full wrap around the book, front and back, Mullen art. It's gonna be so good. All right, Robert, got your name written down. Get him a sticker, exclamation mark. Recommended music to this. There's an awesome DCC Spotify playlist. I would recommend that. That one will hit a lot of the right vibes. I'll say Loot the Body. Love Loot the Body. Go check. There's a lot of music videos on YouTube that Levi has made a ton of music videos for that. Go check him out on Bandcamp, though. Buy some of his stuff. He was affected by the California wildfires, not as badly as some folks for sure. But a little extra support would mean a lot to him. There's been some shout outs to him in the DCC community, so I'll shout him out again. He did. I had him do a song for Elfland, which was in the video for the Kickstarter there, and you can find my Kickstarter video on YouTube, and you can find he then also made a music video for it that you can find on the Loot the Potty YouTube page, and it's really cool. I really like it. So I would check that out, particularly because I have the involvement in it, which was basically my extent of involvement was going, hey, I like your vibe. I love your music. Would you make a song? This is the thing. And he went, oh, well, I have a half finished song about inspired by the book, The King of Elfland's Daughter. I went, okay, well, my zine is inspired by The King of Elfland's Daughter. So that's absolutely perfect. How much money do I need to give you to have you finish it and then give out Bandcamp codes to all of the backers for that Kickstarter? And that's how it works. So that, not like I had creative involvement with that song, but my little piece of making it happen, I still feel kind of proud of. I was talking about the adventures. So yeah, the funnel is like a really fast-paced point crawl where you've got a little room. The first level adventure is a smallish dungeon crawl that is inside and around a monumental tree. So it's a very vertical dungeon crawl. Also a little smaller in scope because for the intent of new players or new judges, That's going to make it easier to feel out your new class abilities or figure out how this DCC thing is supposed to run from a judge's perspective. So it kind of keeps it in scope. There's a little bit of, trekking through the wilderness, random tables, but primarily a smallish dungeon crawl. Then level 2, you're in a city in the sky, and it's explore these ruined environments, and gonna be a lot of role play opportunities there with a good chunk of fighting. But you're still level 2, still pretty squishy as DCC characters, so it kind of gives you a lot of opportunity to, if you are smart, be prepared for the very difficult fights that I honestly throw at you. Then level 3 is basically a heist where you determine your own goal. There's like 3 different solid points where you could be like, that's what we want to do. But you're on an island full of drunken sea giants. So every single encounter can be very deadly, but they're drunken sea giants throwing a party. So they don't expect anyone. And you can, prepare a lot of ambushes, trick these drunk fools, get away fairly easily, and hide in different spots that are, go hide in the latrines if you really want to. There might be something fancy in there. You never know. Hint for future players. Level 4 adventure is like a big dungeon crawl with multi-levels. And the level 5 is, the crazy one on the Plains of Chaos. Good question. How many sessions start to finish? If you're doing typical 4-hour sessions, the funnel you can easily do, and the level 1 you can easily do in one each. The level 2, 3, and 4, I've run them all in a single hour, but they work better if you give them 2 sessions. The 4th level one, maybe even 3. And then the last one, I kind of wanted that to not feel like it wears out its welcome, and how kind of, and all the gnarly stuff I throw at you. So that one will go in about a single session. So really probably about 6 to 9 sessions if you just hit 6 to 9 4-hour sessions if you're focused in what you're doing here. But I have additional things in there for like, hey, do you want to expand out the adventures? Here's some ones, existing DCC first and third party adventures that go on the road and you could kind of place anywhere. Here's some ones that take place in the city of Punjar, because there's some mentions of that, so you can kind of have some different things there. Here's some ones that fit thematically with giants, and you can very minimal tweaking, and they really fit the theme of this campaign of the Conquest of Chaos. So so easy to extend, but if you keep it tight and go, okay, you finished the level 1 adventure, now you're level 2. You finished the level 2 adventure, now you're level 3. 6 to 9 sessions. Any advice for people starting out? I would say, rulings over rules is the big advice that's kind of like almost too vague to be that useful. I do actually have like an advice section in here where I have 10 points of advice. It's even before the first adventure, and it's typical advice for like whether you're judging full campaigns or just a single adventure. And so like number 1 is you don't need to roll for everything. If the players devise a plan that's just going to make sense that it would work, just let it work. Oh, for writing. Okay. So I'll leave that in there. You got to buy the book to find that out. Writing, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I prefer writing in a little journal. I used this in Dungeon 23. Some of the first versions and ideas for some of the adventures came out in this, or some other notebooks I have on a shelf over here. I find physically writing, and actually writing with a pen so that I can't erase things, helps me out, because it forces me to get things down on paper. And if I don't like it, I have to keep doing it later. This is my current notebook with a whole lot of stickers on it, stickers in the front, back to, and I use these to, a yellow one right now, the colors change meaning, but a yellow one right now means that I like what I actually wrote on that page, but I haven't transcribed it into a Google Doc or something yet, so that I can like actually begin like real proper work and getting it past like a fun outline. The blue tab is just literally my to-do list, like get an oil change on my car, but also um, uh, do that thing for DCC Day, because I'm gonna put a free poster on DCC Day. So check your local stores when that happening. Then that poster is gonna have some San Julian art for another big project I'm working on called Academia Arcana RPG, which you can get like a no editing happened early version of that for free on Drive-Thru RPG if you search Academia Arcana RPG. And that's my next big thing after this, that ideally will be in the fall. But yeah, get things out on and just start writing stuff down. If you do it in pen, you can't erase stuff and revisit. So I hope that will help you out. It helped me out. I did it a little bit before the Dungeon 23, but Sean McCoy, talked that up and I got into it. And I made it through the whole year. Every single week got something, every single day. I wasn't sometimes catching up a little bit, but I did it. And what constitutes writing I like versus writing I don't? I like I do like that flowery language in writing, but I also like it to be actionable and to the point. Something I don't like that I see sometimes is information where you're going, how would I ever communicate this to my players? This seems like something that's just here for the judge, and there's no NPC or item or journal note where I'm going to be able to share this with anyone. Which is like kind of, and you always wish you could, but you don't know how to, the adventure won't give you a good way to do it. So that's something I don't like. For writing boxed text, if that's something that you do in your writing style, which is the typical for DCC, I really say keep your box text, your descriptive text, that italic stuff at the beginning, describing the room or the area or whatever. Keep it short. The human brain can on average only keep about 5 to 7 things in like short-term memory. So if you overload them with, if you hit people with 3 paragraphs of stuff that they're supposed to remember, you're going to get people immediately asking for a recap afterwards. It's better to give a high-level description of what's in the room, and they can ask the questions about things they're interested in, because and you won't see that like glazing over the eyes look. So that's something that I'll advise for writing. Besides that, you don't need to exhaustively list everything that's in a room. Yeah, OSC Hostile does that very well. And it doesn't exhaustively list everything in a room. It lists the important stuff and gives room for the judge to figure the rest out. Make it up. If there's a kitchen, I don't need to describe every pot and pan. It's in a kitchen. I need to describe the interesting things. That's what I need to write about when I'm creating something. I need it. People are going to know there's a stove or pots and pans and plenty of knives and spices and stuff, unless there's like rare, expensive spices that PCs might decide to loot, or stuff where, oh, this spice can be used because a monster is allergic to it or something like that, or it's something interesting on that term. I don't need to go into detail there. Same thing in like a bedroom, don't need to describe everything. It's, of course, it's got a bed, it's got this and that. Like, just write about the interesting stuff and let judges improvise and fill in. If you try to exhaustively list something, then people will start treating it as an exhaustive list and not feel like they have the authority to create that, for themselves. So that's another little piece of writing advice that I'll say. And lastly, and that kind of goes back to give the players buttons and knobs and levers to play with. That's what they want. They want to go crazy. You want to tempt them and do that. And yes, Stephen King descriptions. I really like his on writing book. I don't, Stephen King also says though, like, don't write stuff down. If it's a good idea, you'll keep it. Like I've got so much written down. I as with anything, any piece of writing advice, you have to find your own way in writing. You can't just use whatever Stephen King says or George R. R. Martin says or whatever. You have to find the way that works for you because you're finding your own voice. So I'm just saying what works for me, but it's still valuable to hear what works for other people because it helps you experiment and try their stuff or take a little bit from it and then keep on going. I haven't looked at all. Let me see how are we going over here. 3320. Okay, sweet. I'm really looking forward to it. I should drop off in just a few minutes though, because I got probably a toddler who wants to steal my computer again so he can play video games with me. We'll see though. It's either video games or watch cartoons with me. Today is I have a weird work schedule. Today is my equivalent of a Sunday. This is my weekend, which is which Tuesday's a great day to launch. People have had their busy Mondays at work. And Tuesday they've hopefully caught up a little bit, and hopefully I'm hitting people when they're checking their emails during their lunch hour or something like that and going, ooh, new thing. But it works perfectly for me. I do intend to do a stream when this thing ends on, I believe, February 21st, if I can remember my own stuff right, kind of late at night. And that stream we'll see. I will have to make it. I'll have to figure it out. It might be like hot spotting from my phone or something like that, depending on where I am. But anyway, I'll thank you everyone for showing up. Thank you for hanging out with me in the chat. I had a fun time talking with everyone. And thank you for backing the Conquest of Chaos. Gonna drop off. Please share the word out there. Make this thing huge. Let's get some extra stickers and some extra art. Let me color those VTT tokens and give me a good excuse to do my an extra podcast because I really dig doing it. And again, if hit that poll about your favorite giant on the community tab. Ooh, it seems like Storm Giant is winning right now, 44%. Okay. Well, hey, I do have another kind of micro adventure cooked up for a storm or a cloud giant, perhaps. So we'll see if we hit all our stretch goals, whatever the most popular giant here is. If it's not already in the book, then I'll see about making that happen. But we got to get there first. Anyway, all right. Yeah, the giant weapons are big, very big, and they do some extra damage. You have to have some strong PCs though. Your 9 strength character is not going to be able to do that. You have to have some strong guys or girls. But anyway, all right, I'm going to drop off. Thank you everyone for showing up. Thank you once again. Be kind, keep rolling dice.